All right, I'd like to welcome my guest, Ashunta Sheriff-Kendricks. How are you today?
I am wonderful, and yourself?
I am great. I'm excited to talk to you about your cosmetic line, the great things that you have coming up, and really about confidence for women when it comes down to how we feel on the inside out, as well as you just breaking into the industry. And this is going to be a great conversation because I know a lot of us are out there, hustling, trying to build and to bring awareness to what we're doing. But I look at your bio and I'm like, man, this girl has done some things. So let's talk about it. How did you get started in the beauty industry?
I got started in the beauty industry by default, actually, from a trauma. So, trauma that happened in my life. I experienced something in college
Okay.
that brought me home early from Howard University. And that through that trauma, I started kind of soul searching and trying to figure out what it was that I wanted to do with my life. And makeup was something that came to me in a dream that I
Really?
should pursue. And I dreamed that I was sitting on Oprah's couch and having a conversation with her about my career and about all these incredible celebrities I had worked with. And the dream was very vivid. So I'm seeing Oprah sitting there talking with me and talking about my career and what I had accomplished. And it was basically like a B reel of my career. But mind you, my career hadn't even started yet. I had no career. I was, about to be evicted in an apartment that I was living in Brooklyn in Park Slope. I was going through
Wow.
a heavy abusive relationship and just didn't really know what I wanted to do with my life. So makeup is the thing that saved me. It's the thing that
Wow.
God presented to me and showed me that it was a part of a ministry that I had. And that's how makeup started. It started literally from a dream. In terms
Wow.
of the tangible footprint and the actual steps towards getting to the journey, um, it was just seeing the signs.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that, by seeing the signs, I was working part time in Soho at a small industrial design firm called M and Company Labs. They were like the first real graphic designers out,
Mm-hmm.
this particular company. And so because we had this like new technology, we were constantly being acquisition by different companies, whether it was MoMA Museum or whether it was San Francisco Museum of the Arts to do different things. And I was just the office manager.
Wow.
And they opened up a Mac store, which was the second store in New York City at the time. The first store was on Christopher Street. The second one was on Spring Street. And then they opened up the Pro store later on in the Flatiron District. And so when they opened up that Spring Street store, it was right down the block from my office.
Hmm.
So on my lunch breaks, I would be in Mac and I would be playing with makeup and I would be assisting customers, even though I didn't work there. I would even be as bold enough to be trying products on people,
Are you
even though I
serious?
wasn't a makeup artist. And one day, after
Wow.
seeing me many, many times, the manager that was at Spring Street at the time, she said, I see you here all the time. Do you work at Christopher Street? And I was like, no, I don't work at Christopher Street. She said, so are you a pro makeup artist? And I said, no. She said, okay, well, first off, you can't touch my customers and you're not even a pro makeup artist. And she said, but I have a suggestion for you. You should apply for a job because we're looking for makeup artists because the brand is growing. And I didn't really have solid makeup experience, so to speak, the
Okay.
way that you would need it now, the way you need a portfolio, you need a
Mm.
resume. I didn't have any of that. What I had was I went to a high school and I was a theater major and I did a lot of plays. So I had real solid expertise in terms of putting makeup on people. Because when you
Mm.
do musicals and plays in high school, and my school was really known for doing musicals, doing dramas, and having a really intense theater arts program, they would bring Broadway directors to direct
Really?
some of our musicals, and we would get workshops with like professional choreographers that were on Broadway. So we
Wow.
were entrenched early on from high school on the professional side of
Mm-hmm.
what it takes to be a theater actor. You need to know how to do your makeup, hair, you need to know
Mm-hmm.
how to put together the costume, you need to know how to do sets, lighting. So you literally have to do everything.
Wow.
And so that was built into me because I went to school for 4 years for that. And then even from the age of 3, My mom had me in dance school. And so I was always performing. I always had
Okay.
recitals, and I ended up dancing professionally in an African dance troupe. So
Wow.
all of those things, all the precursor stuff from 3 to the age of 19 when I became a makeup artist were the things that set me up to becoming a makeup artist. I think people don't understand that a dream is bigger than
That's true.
just a few days, a few months, a few years. There's sometimes a life journey ahead of it that
Yes.
actually starts to point you in the right direction. So
Yeah.
that happened. And I said, you know what, I'm going to apply for this job.
Uh-huh.
And simultaneously, they weren't hiring yet, but they then called on me to come and apply for Mac because they were opening up Macy's, the very first
Wow.
Macy's store. And I was late to the interview. I was late because the job that I was at would not let me out early. And when I arrived, Macy's had closed everything down, and it was I literally sat in a chair and almost cried because I just felt such a strong burning sensation that this was what I was supposed to be doing. And I was a very good steward for what God was telling me. God was telling me, showing me the signs. I was doing what I needed to do, and I showed up, and nothing happened. So I was really like kind of baffled, like, God, I had the dream, I met the person, I did
What
it, and I
happened?
really, was raised by parents that teach you to look at signs, be vibey, and all, be superstitious. I had those typical quintessential Southern Mississippi parents that were, just a short drop from slavery. So a lot of that African
Wow.
tradition was passed through. So I'm glad I have all those weird spidey sense superstitious things about me, because those are the things that have set me up for this question. So a
Yes.
man walks out in the back. He sees me, and at that time I had cranberry red dreadlocks, and again, it's 1996. Who had dreads back then?
Right.
So I mean, so I had dreadlocks. I don't even think Lil Wayne had dreads. But anyway, so he looks at me, and I've got nose piercings, and I just look really alternative. And he said, "You look like a Mac girl." And I said, I came to apply. He said, you know what? They closed it down, but I'm going to give you a shot. They're still back there. I'm going to tell them we have one more. And that man really is you never know when you're an instrument for God.
That's
You
right.
never know when you're actually doing something. His yes and no literally was a determining factor for my future. Seriously. And I'm sure it would have happened another way, right? But that's the way it was supposed to happen. So, long story short, I got the job at Mac, and got the training, the
Wow.
professional makeup artist training to add to the schooling training that I had. And the celebrity part came through word of mouth.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
something that kind of birthed, years later, after me starting at Mac, opening up Herald Square. I then moved to Laura Mercier after being fired from Mac. That's a whole nother story. um, and and I mean, and that's also in trauma too. I was
Yeah.
going through an abusive relationship, and it was interfering with my work. And her father would call my job at Macy's at the counter and threaten to kill her because he was home watching her. And so it was things like this that I'm going through in my day-to-day life as a young, makeup artist, dreaming of, I didn't even
Yeah.
dream of celebrities, and I didn't dream of what Oprah's vision I had seen in the dream yet. I just was at the very precipice of it. I was at the very start. And so I didn't even know how to get to that Oprah moment. I didn't even
Yeah.
understand. There was no roadmap, but I knew that this was the beginning. And he literally, through his insecurity and all those other things, you know, blocked me
Girl.
out of an opportunity, and I lost my job there. And that same day I lost my job, I gained a new one. I literally was walking down the street. A
That is
former Mac
crazy.
employee saw me. I was actually crying. He asked me why I was crying. He was a former makeup artist at Mac. He said, Ashunta, you don't cry. You're an amazing makeup artist. You're a mother. At that time, I'd become a mom, to Nami, my firstborn, who's going to be 26. And he walked me to Henry Bendel, and I got the job at Laura Mercier. And that's when everything really started to change. So, all of these amazing feats in my life have really been birthed from real trauma, including my
Yeah.
brand. My brand was birthed out of the pandemic. It
Wow.
was birthed from not having work. It was birthed from no income. It was birthed from no opportunities on the horizon, really. So
Wow. Wow.
I believe that, um, I truly believe I'm a phoenix. in the
Hmm.
sense of every aspect, because Phoenix always rises from the ashes. And I
That's right.
believe that people of color are phoenixes. I believe that we are,
Hmm.
that is, if there's a spirit animal to represent people of color, and I mean that, it is a phoenix, because we always rise
We
from
do.
whatever ashes that are thrown our way.
Yeah. And tell me this. I mean, wow. Just in that little bit right there, I can just envision your life and the different barriers that just seemed like they kept coming, barrier after barrier after barrier. How did you keep the confidence? I mean, you had this dream, right? This vivid dream I believe that God gave you to hold on to that barrier after barrier after. How did you hold on to knowing this is what I'm called to do even though I have these barriers and these hurdles in my way?
I honestly believe that I am just really stubborn
Oh,
and resilient and
okay.
built that way.
Mm-hmm.
I was the kid that my mom said, "You can't do that. I'm going to figure out how to do it." She rarely would say I can't do anything, because she never believed to say that. But if there was a can't, Ashunta was going to figure out how. So I've always been extra curious as a kid.
Yeah.
I am, still curious as an adult. My curiosity never stops. I'm constantly searching on the internet, learning new things. I think that our mind never stops growing. But I
Mm-hmm.
think a part of that, the spirit that one has to have when obstacles are constantly coming your way and you feel like, what is happening? The
Yes.
resilience has to kick in. It has to, especially if it's a dream that's burning you, and you just can't eat, sleep, or think, like, if this doesn't happen.
Yeah.
I know there's some people that go after a while, just give up. People will tell you that. But
They
it's
will.
right when you're at that place of giving up, that's when it all changes. I'm telling you, it has happened to me countless times in my life. So it's the power of resilience. It's
Mm-hmm.
that person that's running the marathon, the one who decides to, my feet are hurting me, I'm gonna take these sneakers off and run barefoot, and the other one who just decides to sit on the sideline, and they're
Mm.
at mile 25.2 and you only have 26.2 miles to go. And that last person said, I'm gonna go bloody feet and all, barefoot, that
Yeah.
last mile. And it's really just the human spirit that makes us that way. And we can thicken up that spirit and strengthen it through various things, through positive
That's true.
affirmation, through various words, biblically or spiritually, whatever your spiritual faith is. It doesn't have to be only the Bible. If it's the Quran, or if the Torah, whatever your faith is, because I don't believe in pigeonholing people that only one way of thinking is the only way to get to success, because that's not true.
Mm-hmm.
Now, who gives you the success is a different story. But success has many roads to
That's
get
right.
there.
That's right.
And so you want to make sure that you're putting, um, you got to put your armor on, because it's going to
Yes.
be a tough road, and prepare yourself mentally that you're going on a marathon, a journey. It is not a sprint. We
Yes.
see people have, what do we call it? Virality and TikTok fame and
Mm-hmm.
Instagram fame, and it happens overnight. And in a matter of a year, we don't know who those people are. We don't know what's happened to them.
So
The
true.
monetization has gone dwindled down to nothing. So in order to have sustainability, you have to be resilient anyway. So you might as
Mm-hmm.
well start developing that muscle now.
Yeah, that's so true. And I was thinking about that this morning, how, we get so defeated when things don't happen in the timeline that we would like them to. And people feel like, it's a race. I gotta get there, and it's hard for us to really embrace that it truly is a marathon when
Yeah.
you're building your career, when you're building your business. So when you receive this job, and what was the name of the company? Harold.
At the time when I went to from Mac, I went to Laura Mercier, and
Mm-hmm.
Laura Mercier is a huge celebrity makeup artist, and she too was just starting her makeup brand at that time.
Wow.
So she only had 2 stores in the country, and I've told this story 1,000 times, but it's all fascinating because it's all about synergy and timing. That I would end up at Mac at the beginning and at
Mm-hmm.
Laura Mercier at the very beginning of these multi-billion-dollar brands, that they've accumulated to, and
Mm-hmm.
so at Laura was there herself. So I honestly really had like a firsthand kind of think about it, experience of seeing what it takes for a woman like me,
Mm-hmm.
who happens to be a Pisces born on March 3rd. We have the same exact birthday, funny enough. That's just mindless information I saved. But But I actually loved and adored her so much because she taught me so much. But I got to see her firsthand, be
Wow.
a makeup artist, be a parent, be a wife, and found a brand and build that brand and
Hmm.
build a legacy brand at that. And I've watched her literally do that. So that was a great precursor for me to see
Hmm.
firsthand because I got to be in it, when
Yes.
products wasn't available, when things were out of stock, like the
Wow.
the mayhem of being a growing brand, being going her having virality back then, which meant being in every magazine, being talked about in every TV show, being worn
Hmm.
by every celebrity. Everyone wanted Laura Mercier's makeup at one point. It was a
Wow.
huge thing. And so Laura still keyed fashion shows for Fashion Week. And she pulled me on her team because she felt that I had what it took to step out of the retail space and into the new space, which is fashion. And
Hmm.
I worked backstage, and the first person to sit in my chair was Joan Collins. And it
Really?
was at a Dennis Basso show,
Wow.
and she had done most of her makeup, but she needed me to help, like, kind of assembly line sometimes, like, here, put these lashes on, because she's now trying to get
Hmm.
someone else through the works. And so Joan sits down and is like, put these two pairs of lashes on me, darling. And for the younger audience who may not know who Joan Collins is, do your research,
Yes. Yes.
because she is the quintessential bad girl,
Yes, she
from
is.
Dynasty. And we, growing up watching that in the 80s, my mom used to watch Dynasty every Wednesday night or Thursday night
Mm.
when it came on, and I watched it with her. So I was happy that I had that knowledge of knowing who her character was and how
Hmm.
well she played it. And we had such great conversation. And
Wow.
sometimes that, too, for my younger artists and founders and entrepreneurs out here, having great conversation is also a game changer for you.
Speak on it.
All this useless information we sometimes pick up, you never know. It may be
Yes.
that person you're in the elevator with, and you found out some information and resources on satellites, and you're in the elevator with somebody who's a satellite owner,
Hmm.
and you just never know where conversations are leading to and how collaborations can happen, to elevate you even where you are right now at this
Yes.
level.
Man, you are dropping some gems. Like you're
I'm trying.
you're you are
I'm trying. I know
dropping.
you don't have a lot of time, but I'm trying to hit your questions, but still utilize,
Yes, yes. Like, listen, who cares about the time? But you are really dropping some gems because I know that, as entrepreneurs, as aspiring entrepreneurs, these are gems that we need to learn to have conversations with people. The mindless information that you may know can be the thing that is a catalyst for someone saying, you know what, I really like that person's personality. Let's have her
It could
do
be
my
a gold
makeup.
nugget. It could be a gold nugget, and it's
Yes.
my mindless information, as I like to call it, that has
Yeah.
helped me a lot of times in life because I meet all types of people from all walks of life being a makeup artist.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
times where I'm on planes to Europe or on planes to LA or wherever I'm on a plane, and I'm sitting next to a huge CEO of a venture capitalist company, and I'm looking for funding.
Wow.
And if I don't have cordial conversation, we need to learn how to just be cordial first as humans. So when someone sits down and they say good morning, I don't always speak first
Mm-hmm.
because sometimes I don't want to disturb people. But if someone sits and they go good morning, oh good morning, and there's nothing wrong with a light conversation that could help you, later on in life. And I've met people like that just from light conversations who end up being game changing people in my life. Like a producer
Wow.
friend of mine who was a producer on a film. She was not my friend. She was a producer for the film.
Mm-hmm.
And through light conversation, by the end of that film, we formed a friendship. By the
Wow.
end of that year, we were like sister friends. And a few years later, literally we're in the pandemic and no work is coming. That sister friend who I worked with 5 years before said, Ashunta, I want you to department head the Best Man Final Chapters.
What?
So, it's those small conversations that we think sometimes are
Girl.
meaningless, or we don't want to talk to people because we have some kind of air about ourselves. I don't know what that is. That
Mm-hmm.
that does exist with people. People just don't want people to talk to them.
Mm.
But that's going to be the thing that actually can stop you from getting
Wow.
to where you need to get, because we're a human chain. We
Yes,
have
we
to remember
are.
that. And as human beings, as we're interconnected more than we know we are. And that interconnection sometimes can be the
Mm.
intersection of your elevation.
Girl, listen, y'all, welcome to the masterclass, okay? Welcome to the masterclass on what's going to elevate you in your life. Relationship currency. Oh my gosh, I'm so glad that you're talking about this because it's important for us to have cordial conversation, and you never know who's going to be sitting next to you. You never know who's going to walk in your path that could be the person that can be the bridge to where God has you to go next. I'm a God girl,
Absolutely.
y'all. Y'all know I
Yeah,
love me some
absolutely. Me as
Jesus.
well. Faith is our other nugget, that
Man.
we must hold to. Faith is not emptyless as some people may think it's empty. It's an empty promise. It isn't. It
Mm-hmm.
isn't at all. It's actually jam packed with goodness. And so you want to make sure that you're pouring in your faith pot, so
Yes.
that you're keeping yourself in a good space. I had a bad day the other day. I was crying. I
Mm.
literally was. I wish I was a walking warrior pillar of strength all the time, but that's not human. I
True.
cry too. I break too. I have moments. And I was having a moment because I'm like, the fires are happening. You
Yes.
know, the fires are devastating the Black and brown community, legacy,
Yes.
history, that can never come back, stuff that's
Mm-hmm.
just gone. I didn't really understand it until I had friends who were born and raised from the Altadena area who were like, my childhood school is gone, my childhood church is gone, my
Yes.
grandparents' house is gone, my aunt's house is gone, all our family history is gone.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a few friends who really it like punched me gutturally yesterday while I was just crying. It
Wow.
also made me feel powerless. It also, because all I can do, because I'm not a $1 billion brand, I'm
Mm-hmm.
not yet,
Yes, that's
but
right.
all I can do is offer giving products to makeup artists who may have lost their kids, to
Mm.
women or anybody. It doesn't have to be a woman, anybody LGBTQ plus who wears product and is
Right.
looking to replenish a lipstick or something because they don't have the funds. So we came together, as a brand to just help in that way. But that didn't feel like enough for me. And then on
Mm.
top of that, I'm like, I have this great news, which I'm going to share with your audience,
Yes.
launching in February in Nordstrom.com. And I'm so excited.
It's
But how do
amazing.
I share this excitement
During
when
this
so
time.
much, you know,
Yes.
so I cried yesterday because I'm in a space of growth for my brand, even though
Mm-hmm.
it is hard. It is like, I don't want to say what it's like, but anybody who has anything that they are trying to build, whether it's a
Yes.
show, whether it's an album, whether it's a theater project, whether it's a physical product, knows that it takes a lot of work. It's blood, sweat, and
Yes.
tears. And so it just put me in a position yesterday. I felt very powerless. Like, I can't really celebrate this the way I want
Mm-hmm.
to. I can't really promote it the way I want to. I feel bad pushing products on people right now. I do,
Right.
because
Yeah.
I am human. Now, a lot
Mm-hmm.
of other people won't.
That's true.
They won't. Because for most business minded people, what does Hollywood say? The show must go on, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
that's actually indoctrinated into me as well, because we've experienced that as makeup artists. Tragedy happens on set. I've had sets where people have lost parents, literally, and
Wow.
the show still went on. Leading actors, show still goes on.
Mm-hmm.
Parents are dying, doesn't matter. We're
Mm-hmm.
going to pause set for a little bit, but the show's still going on. So, does business really have humanness to it? you
Mm-hmm.
know that's something that I am having to look at as a founder, as a brand, as a
Right.
businesswoman. Where does my humanity and my business, where do they meet? What's the happy medium? So
Yeah. That's
even for your
challenging.
audience, this is a really good gem too for them, because I'm at a crossroad on how do you navigate in a world of trouble but still have a brand that needs to have its life force, which
Mm-hmm.
is consumerism. We need people to purchase, we
We
need people
do.
to buy, because that's how a brand thrives. And in order for us to do that, we have to offer you amazing products, and we have to
That's
do our
true.
part, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's just really just figuring out those things now, because I've not been a brand founder before. I'm only 2 years in.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to navigate that space, because the human part of me and the makeup artist part of me
Mm-hmm.
just wants to just be quiet and not say too much, not really promote too much, not really
Right.
flash too much, because I don't feel like it's time. So pray for me on that one, that I
I
find the happy
will.
medium and solution, because
I
as
will.
a business, the show still has to go on. It still
Yeah.
does.
And it is challenging. I have some things coming up too that I want to share. And, I don't want to say guilt, but you just feel like maybe this is not the right time for me really to promote. But you also did speak about how, you're giving back to the community and helping out. And so I think we just have to find the harmony in it and
Hmm.
still know that, what we have is worth celebrating, but also still find that humanity side of us to support others that are in need or going through crisis. It's a challenge though, but I'm
Yeah.
gonna be praying for you because you got some great news. We ain't gonna talk about it yet, but you got some great news. So let's shift gears a little bit about you starting your own company, your own beauty line, your own
Hmm.
cosmetic line. How did you transition into that? What made you say, you know what, I think I want to start my own? I want to become a founder.
So this is my second time trying. The first time I tried in 2010, and
Okay.
actually I would say success. I landed on QVC. The brand landed there. Unfortunately, I wasn't business minded. And so everybody go to YouTube University. You don't have to go get a college degree, but you can go to YouTube University and really educate yourself, even TikTok University,
Right.
on all of the things you need to be, a founder, a brand, a business, um, all of the trademarking and brand identity things, assets, all that stuff. So I hadn't done certain things, trademarking wise, to basically secure the brand. So after going on QVC and having success, what then ended up happening was I got hit with a trademark infringement lawsuit. So the brand got pulled from QVC. We had $1 million lawsuit,
Oh
and
my
then I had to
God.
basically close that brand down. But I still had product, because even though the brand shut down on a business level, QVC still wanted me to get all of my inventory out of their warehouse, which was thousands, tens of thousands of
Wow.
pieces. So I
Wow.
got all the pieces, and then I started partnering up with the makeup show, and that's where I started my relationship due to James Vincent. He basically poached me in the most best way, and brought me into the makeup show, and that was a big saving grace, because I was able to introduce this product that had a little bit of a runway from being on QVC the few times that it was on, to the
Right.
makeup artist community, and we became a coveted foundation stick. We got all kind of write-ups. We got written as a
Wow.
five-star product, and I was just selling it literally in that kind of way. Like, people would email me and say, I
Really?
really want the sticks. It was no website. It was really like cult. And then it got to a place where I couldn't handle that anymore, because it was like, I'm going to need to build a whole website to deal with this. But at the same time, my career was super busy. I got the job as Taraji P. Henson's makeup artist to be Cookie's makeup artist for the show Empire. So I had to do a relocation to Chicago. And
Okay.
so that's what kind of like stopped Ashunta Sharif Beauty from really I could have kept it going. And, but then I just said, no, I'm going to leave it alone. Moved to Chicago, focused on Empire, received 2 Emmy nominations from the work doing Cookie, and just
Amazing.
started getting all these write-ups, got the cover of Hollywood Reporter, and just all this amazing press around Taraji's character, but around the looks that I was creating for the character, and started getting the idea, let me do this again. And so started to lean into it, and then the pandemic happened. We got shut
Great,
down in
huh?
March 2020.
Jesus.
We had 18 episodes, and we still had two more to finish, and they just said, nope, pulling the plug, show is done. And so,
Wow.
with that being said, I had to figure out things. I was talking to my husband, Cordero, and I was like, I want to figure out what I'm going to do. And he had some seed money for me, and he poured into me and said, here, take this money, do something, because you're really kind of like driving me crazy, because I'm not used to, he was, I was never used to not working. I've been working since I was 13. So during the pandemic, I was making
Oh.
jobs that weren't necessary. Like, it wasn't even a job I was really being paid for, and it was I was treating it like I was getting a six-figure salary. And he was like, "This is ridiculous. Like, I'm gonna need you to stop this. You
Yeah.
need to focus on something real, tangible, and not that, because that's ridiculous." So I started to redirect my energy on making a product, and I was like, "Well, what can I create? What can I do? Again, if you're making a product, how can I create a product that's just not adding to the mix in the world, and just
Right.
making it more cluttered, but actually have a solution to it. And so lashes was a big problem for me at the time because I had found out I had lash alopecia from
Hmm.
using lash extensions.
Really?
Remember the long, yeah, the glue. I was highly allergic, didn't know, and I ended up having lash alopecia. So
Wow.
I have some lashes that have grown back now, but not much. So that, I mean, a makeup artist with no lashes, that's like a nightmare. Like I can't even wear mascara. Come on. So I
Mm-hmm.
was wearing lashes all the time. And glue was just constantly bothering me. It didn't matter what kind of glue it was. And I had found magnetic lashes from someone who referred me to it because they were like, I know you have all these issues with your eyes. Maybe this will work. And
Mm-hmm.
they worked amazing. No itching, no irritation. But the magnetic liner adhesive from this brand just wasn't good. It just wasn't strong.
Okay.
It wasn't holding my lashes on like this, like how mine, you
Right.
know,
You pull your
mine
eye
is
off.
holding
Uh
it.
huh. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You could sleep in ours.
Right.
Um, and so I worked with a manufacturer to just tweak that formulation and make it better and ran through tests. And magnetic lashes from Ashunta Sheriff were born. I called them magnetized. The
Wow.
way that I said I'm going to spin this is not only better than regular magnetic lashes that are on the market currently
Mm-hmm.
because they're not only vegan, paraben free, and cruelty free. And this magnetic adhesive is actually 10 times stronger, but the actual lashes are made from plant soluble fiber. So I went a
Hmm.
step further to make a really like the whole entire, I could throw the whole thing
Wow.
in a recycling box. The whole thing can be recycled. They're
Wow.
completely clean. And so we just got really great rapid success when Taraji posted. She posted the lashes herself applying it on Instagram one crazy morning in 2022. And the brand had been out maybe about 6 months. I had the lash
Wow.
line and she posted it and went crazy. And we had like
Really?
$50,000 in orders. And the rest is history. That became like really the springboard
Wow.
to develop all of the other products that we have, develop our website, grow us to where we are now.
That wow. We're gonna go back a little bit. This is amazing. Do you look at your life and be like, man, God, like it's been rough, but thank you. Like I
Absolutely. That's my constant. I constantly am saying that, like this is a journey, this has
yeah.
been a true, and since childhood, my whole life has been a roller coaster like that. So I honestly feel like life is that's just what my life will be.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm fine with that because I've learned how to pivot and navigate in the tough parts. So
Mm-hmm.
it's not necessarily like that dramatic roller coaster ride, like how it used to feel. Like I
Yeah.
would feel like in these extreme highs and these extreme lows. I don't see it that way anymore. Now I just see it like, okay, here's a challenge. I'm gonna cry. I'm gonna figure it out. May need a drink, you know,
Okay.
but I'm gonna push myself. I'm gonna push through this, and
Yeah.
I always end up okay on the other side.
And you've
That's the great
developed
part, though, knowing
resilience.
that I'm gonna have a soft landing.
Mm-hmm.
I know that the turbulence is there, but when I
Yeah.
land, it will be soft because God always has my back. So that's the
Man.
hardest part, just getting through the turbulence. And, you know, I have an amazing support system in my husband, my
Mm-hmm.
mom, my mother-in-law, like so many people that are praying for me, rooting for me, my
Right.
friends. Our Shunta Sharif Glow Tribe, Shunta Sharif Beauty Glow Tribe, that's what we call them. Glow Up guys, giving them love, but they just really have
Wow.
so much support for me, and they want to see me win. It's amazing.
Yeah. And
And
because
we have to have that kind of championing for each other, I think.
we
That's
need
what I
it.
want to add. Like women of color, especially.
Yes.
The championship needs to be at Super
Mm-hmm.
Bowl level for each other,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
not just for Beyonce,
Right.
you know,
Right.
and
Yeah.
not just for high profile A-list people. When I say Beyonce, it's no shade to her. It's just that I'm using her as a pentacle of symbolism of that we are always
Mm-hmm.
championing for A-list people or we're
That's
either
right.
tearing them down. It's one or the other, right? But we don't
Mm-hmm.
champion as hard sometimes just for the regular Black woman, the regular brown girl who has a
Yes.
podcast, who has a skincare line, who has a cute, unique hair tool she's created. There's not enough
Mm-hmm.
championing on the level that it needs to be. And also, brand switching is what I like to say. You got a red lipstick, the Lip Bar makes one. Ashunta Sharif Beauty makes one. Glamazon Beauty makes one. LYS makes one. These are all Black owned brands. So
Wow.
you don't have to go buy YSL. You don't.
Yeah.
You don't have to buy that Gucci lipstick. And I'm not saying you don't have to have luxury or treat yourself to luxurious things, but little swap outs like that we can do as Black and brown women,
Mm-hmm.
supporting and circulating our money within our
Yes.
community, pouring into skincare, hair care, beauty brands, fashion brands. Come on, then we really have seats at tables that we built ourselves.
Yeah, that's so true. That definitely needs to happen a lot more, especially in our, LA area. We need to do that a lot more out here. Talk to
Are you
us.
based in LA?
I'm based in the LA area.
Are you
Yes.
are you are you safe where you are? Since we're, I mean, I know we're interviewing, but are you safe?
Yes, I am safe. I'm more
Okay.
on the
Your family
suburbs.
wasn't affected?
No, just some
Okay.
friends. Definitely praying for everyone that was affected, but I'm safe. Thank you.
Thank
And your
God. Thank
family, you
God.
guys are safe.
Yeah, we're in Chicago, but
Okay.
we have a lot of friends out there and family,
Mm-hmm.
colleagues. My agent lost her home,
Wow.
so that was kind of like hit me pretty hard because I know how
Mm-hmm.
hard she worked over the last 30 years.
Yes.
She lost her business, so the agency also burned
Oh
down.
my
There's
gosh.
literally her agency is in the Altadena area. And so I've had a few pockets of friends, come to me and tell me that this happened to family or this happened to them. I
Mm-hmm.
had a friend lose a pet, which was
That's
kind of devastating. My friend, good friend of mine, Sarah, her cat was lost. They don't know if the cat is gone or just missing, but the cat is gone. So it's things like that are happening, and it's just really like it's crazy. It's just
yeah.
crazy.
It is
It's mind
crazy.
boggling.
Yeah, and more fires keep popping up here and there. It's a crazy time for Southern California. So yeah, our prayers go out to everyone.
Yeah.
Uh um I wish we were in California. We could definitely connect. So tell me, how does one deal with failure? How do we
I've
deal
had
with
plenty.
failure? She said, I got
How
a
does one
list.
deal with failure? I think I told you about 10 already in this podcast. Um, Listen, I was in college. I was at Howard University. I had scholarships and grants. Dropped out of college. Dropped out. Was going to be a cultural anthropologist. I come from a family that, I don't know how to put it, but what you achieve and accomplish is important. It is.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's my mom really looks up to that a lot.
Okay.
And accomplishment is very important to her,
Mm-hmm.
for us, because she feels like we didn't have all these opportunities. So when we're given this opportunity, you better do something with it,
Okay.
So that's been what she's pushed into me.
Mm-hmm.
So I that was my first, for me, major failure. Some people drop out of college like nothing, like it's
Yes.
no big deal. I cried for months over it because I
Hmm.
felt the disappointment of not just to myself, first and foremost. I had
Right.
a goal for my life mission and I wasn't checking it off. My
Hmm.
disappointment to my parents, my stepdad and my mom, what they had, the expectation they had for me, my
Yeah.
community. I had scholarships from my church. So my community was like, what
Mm.
happened? So
That's a lot.
that was my first failure. And honestly, I'm gonna be true. I'm gonna keep it guttural real with your audience. I don't think people really thought I was gonna accomplish too much after that, you
Hmm.
know, outside of my mom. I think
Wow.
that the community kind of checked me off because we have a tendency also as Black people that if it's not through education, which can lead to medicine, which can lead to law, which can lead to accounting, which can lead to, whatever the journey leads you to, but it's through
Yes.
education, that we're not going to amount to much. We have
Mm-hmm.
and then the other side is if I'm not a rock star athlete,
Mm-hmm.
and showing promise at an early age that I'm going to be really amazing at my skill set of basketball, football, dance, or whatever that
Mm-hmm.
sport is, we really, everything in between is shades of gray for the Black community. And then they don't really understand that sometimes. So
Yes.
when I came to my parents and said, I'm going to become a makeup artist, I was cursed out by my stepdad. What the hell are you talking about?
Wow.
A makeup artist? There's no future in that. You're going to become some damn hairstylist. That's how it was looked at. But the thing is that and it's okay. God rest my stepfather's soul. He's from a different time period,
Yes, of
from a
course.
different generation.
Mm-hmm.
They also looked down on hairstylists. They didn't understand
Mm-hmm.
that being a hairstylist was one of the first entrepreneurs
Yep.
that we had as Black people. And it
That's
was by
right.
Black women,
That's
barbering
right.
and hairstyling. That's one of the first shops that we were allowed to open,
Mm-hmm.
even down to, and we're not even at Black History Month. I just got chills. We had to have all of our hair covered in slavery all the time. We had
Yes.
to wear do rags, hair head wraps,
Mm-hmm.
all the stuff that, and that's why we're so accustomed to wearing it, Monique. I just want to add to that. That's why we like wearing bonnets, because it's ingrained
Mm.
in us to wear bonnets.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, we were only allowed to take those bonnets off for Sunday service.
Yes.
And women would prep and men would prep hair Saturday for Sunday services so hair could be out and
Mm-hmm.
in all its glory. So the career of hair and makeup, it goes hand in hand, with entrepreneurship and Blackness to me.
Yes, I
And it
can see
goes all the
that.
way to Africa, because hairstyling is a rites of passage in Africa. There's certain braiding
Mm-hmm.
patterns that warriors will have, certain hairstyles
Mm-hmm.
that matriarchs of the tribe will have. Because this is what I majored in, anthropology. That's actually what I actually focus in college
Mm.
on, is historical, cultural
Wow.
premises, and practices. So this is something that's very, very intrinsic to us. It's very connected to Black women.
Mm-hmm.
Hair, makeup, beauty. We have innovated most of the tools and technology that have come
Yes.
out. Hair comb, a hot comb, a
Mm-hmm.
flat iron. We
Mm-hmm.
could keep going on. Weaving,
Right.
wigging,
Right.
everything that everyone is using.
Yes.
Leave-in conditioner. Do we want to keep going on? So, us being innovators in that way, I
Yes.
don't think my stepdad and a lot of parents from that generation understood how important a cosmetic chemist is,
Yes.
or a person that's a beauty expert is, or a
Mm-hmm.
hairstylist is to Blackness. It's very important.
That's
So,
true.
my mom understood it and secretly supported me.
Mm.
She would siphon money off to me that he would give
Family.
her, to, "Here, this is for your portfolio. I know
Mm.
you said they cost $900 to get leather bound portfolios at the time, because this was before we had the internet and website and people could use links. Here's my
Mm-hmm.
website. You could look at my work. We had to have physical bound books to show people
Wow.
our work. And those physical leather portfolios would travel the world literally, and we had to
Mm-hmm.
pay for it. FedEx Airway bills of my book going to RCA Records or going to Sony Records or going to wherever to get the job for a campaign or for an artist. So, you know, my stepdad really didn't understand it until several years later. I had been working with Alicia Keys. I'd been on tour several times, and now, I'm home from touring. And I had done. I feel like when I say I went on tour, I feel like I was in the war, and I know that's not even, but that's what it felt like.
Right.
Like I was in battle, So I was away on tour, and coming back every few months, and they were taking care of Nami, my oldest daughter. So I was coming back, and he wouldn't see me that much. It would be just like in and out, grab Nami, go home and be with my child, because I wasn't with her. And I would spend a little bit of time with mom here and there, but I would be right back on the road. So I
Mm-hmm.
was kind of existing like that for the first few years. And then like year 3 or something happened. I know it was around his birthday. He wanted to do something special. This is my stepdad, for his birthday. And so my mom was telling me about it. I said, "Oh, I'm going to send you guys a limo and have a limo pick you guys up,
Mm.
and pay for the whole dinner event that he wants to go to, and he wants to see some live jazz. I'm going to pay for that." I paid for the whole night. The limo stayed and waited for them for their entire night,
Wow.
till they were done, and took them home. And the next day when he saw me, he was like, he called me Shanta. That was my nickname. He was like,
Uh-huh.
"Shanta, that was out of sight. I can't believe, how'd you afford that? Oh, you really doing some things." And that's when it really clicked. Like,
Yeah.
my daughter's really doing it, He
Yes.
had no idea. And even when I moved into my brownstone and I had a backyard, we grew up in an apartment building, in New York City, in Harlem. So, there's no backyard. I
Mm-hmm.
don't have my own space, And when I got my brownstone, even though I was renting, he was very proud of me, because he looked around like, "You have a brownstone, you have a backyard." So he would
Wow.
tell me, every chance that he got later on, he was like, "I was so wrong about this whole makeup thing. It turned out to be really major, and wow,
Yes.
look at what it's done for your life. No, I would have never done that." So, people don't belittle your kids' dreams, because some kids are in the room drawing cartoons. They
Mm-hmm.
become cartoonists. And they become amazing award-winning journalists, or, whatever that passion is a child is really into. I told you from a young age, I was always drawing
Right.
and coloring. So that was something that I did to escape my childhood traumas. I would be by flashlight under the cover making
Wow.
books and drawing, or cutting up clothes, making clothing. So being creative was always a part of my DNA. And it's just, you have to have parents that really like support that,
You do.
but also don't let you cut your curtains,
Right.
cut the curtains up, and still like, discipline you. Like, you can't burn this whole house down to cook and you want to
Right.
be a chef, but we're going to show you, we're going to support you, but we're going to show
Right.
you the right way to handle the
Yeah.
stove, handle the knives, and handle those things, because we're dealing with that now. We have one of our kids who wants to be a chef. He's really interested in culinary arts. He wants to whip up stuff. He wants to whip through expensive ingredients. Not really loving that. He wants to
Right.
use all the truffle oil. He wants to always make a sauce. Um, and so staying in a place of encouraging, but also like, dude, don't be using up all my white truffle oil.
Right.
Okay. It's
Okay.
expensive. So still, finding balance. But, my mom
Yes.
was the one that was really my true supporter,
Yes.
as I was building my career.
Yeah, and I think it's important for us to say, like you talked about your stepfather, he didn't come from the generation where, hair and makeup or other types of, entrepreneurial goals were accepted. But it's important for us as entrepreneurs, those that are aspiring, to really, there might be people that may be negative or be naysayers or don't believe in your dream. And like you found support in your mom, we all need to find someone that supports our dream, dream builders, not dream snatchers, that will be there in our corner when we are evolving and becoming. It's so important.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I love that dream. What did you say? Dream.
Dream
I
builders
love
or
dream
dream.
builders and not dream
Yes.
snatchers. I love that.
Yes.
I'm
We
gonna steal that
really
from you.
need that.
I'm at least telling you. You're gonna see it in the Instagram quote.
Right. All right. Now with that truffle oil over there, huh?
This has been great.
It has been. So tell me some advice that you can give to someone who wants to take the leap of faith to follow their dreams.
The best advice I can give is just don't stop. Doesn't mean quit your job. I think sometimes, we see those movies and we see she quit her job and moved to LA on $5. That's not everybody's journey, you know?
Mm-hmm.
That's not. So don't make that your journey. It doesn't have to be that. You can actually plan, prepare, and make moves. The thing is just finding what it is you're trying to accomplish. I think sometimes we are uncertain about the dream, because
Yes.
right now a lot of noise is really like creating static for people to have clarity on what their dream is. I think sometimes people's dream is other people's dream in the day
Mm-hmm.
we are right now, because they want more so of what comes with the dream.
Yes.
All the luxury items that come with it. All the affordability, all the comfort. Checkbox. Oh, I want that. I want that. I want. And that's
Mm-hmm.
great. But before you get to that place, every single person that, if they've have it and they've sustained it, they will tell you it was a journey to get to it. It was
Mm-hmm.
not something that happened overnight. If it starts from being curated in a space, so to speak, that isn't organic to you, and you may feel like you're kind of following somebody else's dream, start asking for clarity from God to help you
Yes.
to see what your vision and your dream is. Because it doesn't mean that someone else's dream doesn't inspire your dream, because
Mm-hmm.
someone else's dream can definitely inspire your dream. It doesn't mean that you're going to have the same journey as them.
That's right.
You're not going to have the same end result as them. That all is up to you. All that is up to you. That's the part that people don't
Yes.
understand. They think that there's a magic wand happening. All me getting into any retail store, any space that I've gotten into is blood, sweat, and tears work that I'm putting
Mm.
in on the other side for those people to pay attention. Like, that brand is
Yes.
worthy of us bringing into this store or onto this
Mm-hmm.
marketplace platform. So just get clarity on what the vision is, what the dream
Yes.
is. Really hunker down on it. I am a true believer of, you could be a jack of, many trades and a master of none. I am
Mm-hmm.
definitely like a full-blown believer in
Yeah.
that philosophy, because every time I've tried to tackle too many things at one time, the one thing that I want suffers. So I had to zero
Mm.
focus, and that's even down to relationships. That's why they say when one thing succeeds, another thing suffers. So you have to create that balance in your life. If you're married and you have a brand, or if you're married and you have a company, you have to make time for your marriage. You have to make time for your relationship. You have to make time for that too, to keep
Mm-hmm.
growing and scaling in the relationship world, because that can fail too. Just
Yes.
because you're married doesn't mean it'll be forever. You know, you
Mm.
can get on your husband's or wife's nerves to a place where they're just done with you. They're over it. So you have to just walk those lines of balance and figure things out, and just really have gratitude. You know that
Yes.
anything is possible, but have gratitude for everything that has been possible, that's
Mm.
already happened. Because I think
Yes.
sometimes we're so grass is green on the other side, waiting, when is this going to happen, when am I, and
Mm-hmm.
it's hard. I again go through that. I am not telling anyone from Dope Confidence, that I don't experience those things. I have hateration moments. I have moments, why isn't this happening to me? I have moments where I deserve this. I'm
Right.
worthy of this. I
Girl.
have that. I am human. But the thing
Yes.
is those moments are small. And when they happen, I check them. I check myself. I
Yes.
look at myself in the mirror and I realign and go, that's not your journey, Ashunta. That's not yours. That's not for you. This is for you. Stay on your
Yes.
course. So we have to be our own psychotherapist. We can't always expect the therapist to keep us in alignment. We have a
No.
brain. God gave us free will. We have to use that as well to keep
Mm-hmm.
our own minds in alignment with the vision, with the dream. And every second, of your life, you're asking for God above to show you the signs, the
Yes.
path. I'm always asking God, show me the path.
Mm-hmm.
Align me with right people, places, situations that activate and elevate and fan my flames.
Yes.
I am a purpose driven leader of a multi-billion dollar business brand. We have to pour into ourselves these seeds, these
Mm-hmm.
mantras, these words. People can tell us you're great till you're blue in the face. If you don't believe you're worthy of it inside, you won't
Yes.
get there.
That's so
We
true.
see a lot of people, they've had a lot of people do heavy lifting to get them there, but the brand won't sustain, or the album flops, or they fall
Mm-hmm.
flat when they perform live, or the movie didn't do that great. So there's so many instances of things, of people who we see that get the shortcut. We
Yes.
see it, and it
Yes.
doesn't stand and it doesn't stay. And so we have to, be mentally aware that it's up to us to also, not just only God gave us that power to keep our
Mm-hmm.
minds in alignment with the journey, and to not let the hateration train take you too far to the right, hating on other people's success, and not
Mm-hmm.
let the self-doubt, self-worthless train take you too far to the left. You have to find your balance between
Yes.
inspiration of people who are doing it and getting it, and saying they getting it, I'm going to get it too.
That's
That's
right.
inspiring me. Not they getting it, why I'm not getting it. Oh, I don't deserve to get it. So it's a mental change that has to
Yes.
happen.
Yes. I love that. It's all about the mindset. It's all about the
Mindset.
mindset and the clarity and the focus. And I thank you for sharing that. But we can't go just yet, because we got to talk about, we've been talking about so many great things. We need to talk about your
I have five
cosmetic
because I have
line.
a meeting
But
too.
you
So
gotta beat it. Ah! We got to talk about your cosmetic line and the great things that are about to happen. Something's coming up great in February, so drop it down to us. Give it to us. Yes, drum roll,
in,
please.
yes, that was my drum roll on my table in February. And no better month than Black History Month.
Yes.
Ashunta Sharif Beauty will be launching on Nordstrom.com. So we are so, so excited.
Yes.
Okay, two hands, what do they clap your hands in a circle like
Right.
living color? Hercules, and all the
That's
above.
right.
But no, just really excited to,
Wow.
bring our brand, our really small, cute, niche beauty brand, to the Nordstrom customer and consumer. I've shopped at Nordstrom most of my adult life, so I'm
Mm-hmm.
excited to be there. I know that they're going to love us. We had a masterclass this past August, and
Wow.
it was a huge hit. We sold so much products, the audience loved it, so I know they're going to love our product offering. So we're really, really excited for this next step for our brand.
Wow.
Going into a big box retailer, it's exciting.
That's amazing, and congratulations. I hope that I can find it at my local Nordstrom's. I'm looking forward
We're
to.
let me We're only on .com. and it's by choice because I am
Oh,
truly an e-commerce beauty brand.
okay.
I don't actually want to be in retail stores. I've
Okay.
made, and that's also a part of me understanding my mission as a makeup artist, as a visionary, as a
Mm,
brand founder. I started to realize the wave of the future is just it's e-commerce, it's the
it
internet.
is. It is.
And stores, people are going in them less and less. So if
Mm-hmm.
we do end up in a store, it's only because you guys have begged me to go into a store. But
Mm-hmm.
I personally would remain on .com, and just continue to do the various brand pop-ups and amplifications that we normally do, and do more of those in the years to come, because I find that that's more engaging for me to meet my real community when we do pop-ups, and I
Mm-hmm.
get to really meet the customer that really loves Ashunta Sharif Beauty, and they bring people with them, and we just grow. It's like a family picnic. It's so good. So
Well, we're
that's
gonna
really
look.
what I love.
We're gonna look
And I feel like
online.
you lose some of that when you go into a retail store.
Yes. And you're right. I mean, there are a lot less people are shopping in stores. It's more so online. So we're gonna look for you online. And if you ever come to LA and pop up, you gotta let us know, because sometimes you gotta pop out and show them, right?
Well, we are in 2 stores in LA.
Oh,
So
you
we are
are.
in, if anyone's looking for our brand, we're at Glow and Flow Beauty.
Okay.
And we're also at Friends Beauty, which is a
Okay.
pro makeup artist store. So definitely your audience can shop us physically at those 2 locations.
Okay. Well, I thank you so much for your time. I know you have to run, but this has been such a great conversation. You dropped so many gems, and I appreciate you, Ashunta. You're
Oh,
amazing.
thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much.